Hello investors and welcome back. Let's talk about ToughBuilt. I've never covered this stock before, so be sure to do your own due diligence. I did listen to the earnings call and I pulled up their financials. I want to go through that with you. So this is ticker symbol TBLT, and this is a penny stock, meaning this is incredibly volatile and it's a small cap, which means it has extreme amount of room for volatility. Now this has had a low price of around under 15 cents, right there around the 14-cent range. And this has went as high up 81% today. I think it was around 26 cents earlier today. Now they have about 350 tool items, things that can be used for not only construction but home improvement. And we do know that there's this possibility of this housing bubble, but are we also working on infrastructure within the United States? Is there plenty of money and room for this company to grow? Now they are working on profitability within 1 to 2 years, but they are burning cash. We're going to talk about those financials. Let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I've got pulled up is just this volume. So at the time of this recording, at about 124, it was about 160 million trading volume, but you can see this pulled back after running up 81% to 37%. The price was standing at about 22 cents with a average trading volume of 4.46 million. So you can see that is massive. And I've just got this filtered by sector and industry. So that way you can see the short float, you can see the insider transaction, which is only 0.3%, which isn't that much, but there has been some insider buying. And it looks like they're going to have to do a reverse stock split. So I don't know why insiders would buy, but it looks like they've done this within the last 12 months. So I don't know exactly what that trading volume looks like as far as insider buying, but it wasn't within the last 3 months. The company now has until May 16th, which is just a few weeks away, once they announce a reverse stock split so that way they can meet the minimum requirement, then they've already received, the company received a 180-day calendar extension. So I just don't see them filing for another one. They're probably going to have to do a reverse stock split, and that's why it's pushed this price down to that 14, 15 cent range. So just be aware of that. This could have some volatility in the next few days, but reverse stock splits typically aren't good for companies and their price action. So I don't like entering or holding through that time frame. Normally you want to watch this come down and find support after it reverse stock splits. Now operating expenses and their financials, right? They're all set up to make the company look good. So I want to focus on the risk because this still has downward possibility before an upward spike. If there is going to be some volatility to the upside where you can lock in some quick profits before they do a reverse stock split, I just want you to know the following. This does have future potential, I believe, but they need cost stability. So their increasing shipping costs are absolutely killing them. And their headcount from their earnings call, they said that they were going to stop that, plus their marketing and advertising, as well as fees related to the sales through Amazon. So they do have their product listed on Amazon, and they do have plans to expand to Europe and Latin America. Now, if you plan to purchase a stock or you already own a stock, I would always advise you to listen to the earnings call. This one already happened. For those of you that previously owned this stock, you may have already listened to it. It's only 13 minutes long, and then there are no analysts covering this. So in the Q&A portion, they opened it up to retail investors, and they did a pretty good job. There were only two. They asked some great questions. Be sure to check this out. For company, you can put investor, stick in your phone number. This is going to give you that call. So this is at a $1.50 price target for one analyst that covered this, and I was able to pull this up on Google. And on Wall Street Journal Markets, they've got the same price target for $1.50. So I don't know if those two are talking to one another, but you also want to take a look historically on how this is performed, and typically their actual has not met the consensus price target, but this time it did this quarter, and that's why you're seeing a surge in the price, and it's coming back to try and find support. Now let's take a look at the financials, because there's some important things in here that were also covered during the call. In the last 4 quarters, I do want to say that this is a seasonal business, and the next quarter is not supposed to look as strong, But if they convert some of this inventory over, which they have a high inventory, we're going to look at that next, they could meet their price target. They're supposed to meet their price target for revenue is 14 million for next quarter. So this 331 was 12 last quarter. It should be 14 this next quarter when they report. Now, you're also going to want to look at this cost of goods sold. Now, we do expect as revenue goes up that we would expect some cost of goods sold to also go up a little bit, but not this much, because you can see we actually had pretty bad gross profit compared to the previous year. It should have been a little better than this. It's going in the wrong direction. 5.44, 5.24, that's not the right direction. And it looks like they are putting controls in place to fix this next quarter or the second half of next year. Be sure to listen to that earnings call, because that's where I got that information from. Now, if we take a look at the balance sheet, if a company is not profitable, then they're burning cash, and that's the problem this year with investing in companies for the long term that are not profitable. And you can see they only have $7 million on the books, and that's down from 31 million. Now, accounts receivable is 18 million. And if they are able to change some of this inventory over here, you can see for the last 4 quarters it's been building up. It's at 38 million. They could have a strong and surprising Q1, and that's what I expect to happen. Now, this volatility, you can see average trading volume 4.4 million, you would say. It was not yesterday, right before this climbed up to 24 million. If I would have caught it then and done a video and let y'all know, you could have mitigated your risk, right? Because this is leading up to Nasdaq compliance, which pushed that price action down to that 14-cent range. This ran up about 81%. I was talking about this earlier in the video, to that 27.73. 180 million. I think this is upwards of 180 million right now. And 14.1 or 14.8 million is the high estimate on what we're trying to get for March. So if we take a look back at the financials, this is where we had on the income statement, we had 12 million previously recorded. So we're looking to do about 2 million more in this next Q1 quarter. Now, one thing I didn't cover is their cash flow statement, and you can see those numbers are getting worse also. So you can understand why this is a penny stock, but I would say that income statement revenue is pretty good. I would say the fear on this one is that reverse stock split, and that's what's really pushing this price down. Now let's take a look at the charts. So we're in the 5-minute chart, and you could see yesterday there was no volume here. This was sitting at about 14 cents, and then the earnings came out. That was positive news, and at market open at 9:30, this went up to about 23 cents, a little above 23 cents, came back to close lower than that right here around 21, ended here at about 9:50. And it's really important to understand these times of when people are trading, because things typically do spike about in that first hour, right short of that first hour before they come back to try and find support after lunch. So you see right here at about 9:50, and this is just really getting to understand when is the peak of some of these spikes. If we get the news before, then this was a sell the news event, but it didn't happen till that first thing in the morning, and I don't like chasing events. If I miss it, I miss it, then come back in later. But this is a small cap stock, and we might make an exception if we can get a low enough entry price, because there might be a second rally on this, just depending on what the news is. Now, the one thing that's special about this is that reverse stock split possibility. This has gotten pushed down so far, but is there enough belief in this stock? Does it have enough visibility to get a second round tomorrow? Volume action in the morning. Does this spike up again? Can this be on an uptrend? And right now the RSI indicator is saying that that is not the case. It came down here, didn't bust through the 30 on the RSI, but it did seem to find support, technical support, right here around, I would say, 2046. But towards the end of the day, it's starting to drop off. So does it come down further, or Can this rally again? I would say that this is a very risky play, but if you can get in low enough, you might be able to find some intraday action on this play. So will it hold? Will it continue to go sideways? What type of after action will we see? I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a little bite at this level here, but I would say I wouldn't want to continue holding this going into May, because as soon as they drop that news of a reverse stock split, this could cause a really sudden downward pressure action. And could it rebound from that level and cause another buy sell opportunity to lock in some profits? Possible, but this is definitely one to watch. I would be very careful with this play. That's all I got. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to subscribe to the channel, leave the video a big thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.